Thank God back then there were no writers in Taos. It was only Frank Waters, right?
Oh, right,
Yeah, and
right,
it was a town full of artists. You know, everybody's painting, 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 painting,
right.
but there were hardly any writers.
Mm,
And I started writing articles, investigative reporting articles for the New Mexico Review.
mm,
And I did that for about 2.5 years.
mm-hmm,
And these were articles about Taos Pueblo and the Blue Lake Land. These were articles about, you know, uh, bomb experimentation in Los Alamos. These were articles about the people in Taos all during the 1970s fighting a conservancy district, the
mm-hmm,
Indian Camp Dam. And I learned so much
mm-hmm,
about this town, about my neighbors. You know, I went to dozens and dozens of meetings.
mm-hmm,
I had the state engineer's hydrographic survey maps of every land parcel and water right in the Taos Valley
mm-hmm,
stuck on my house walls.
uh-huh,
You know, I mean, I learned so much, uh, particularly during that struggle
mm-hmm,
and those meetings and just talking with my neighbors,
yeah,
all the old timers
right,
who were fighting it.
yeah,
And that's kind of kept me alive as a writer until the New Mexico Review died.
mm-hmm,
It died at the end of 1972.
mm-hmm,
And then is when I sat down and I said, I have so much information
mm-hmm,
that I've learned in the last 3 years. That's when I started writing the Milagro Beach Field War.
mm-hmm. And do you want to give us a quick synopsis of Milagro?
A quick synopsis. How can I give a quick synopsis? It's a book that, you know, it's an 800-page
Try, John,
manuscript
try.
that just goes all over the map. You know, the quick synopsis is that a guy named Joe Mondragon
Uh-huh.
in the little town of Milagro, one day he just gets fed up with not having employment, not having a job, having to go and work as a migrant laborer in the San Luis Valley or stuff like that. And the west side of his town has lost all its water rights.
Uh-huh.
So his dad's plot of land has no water rights. And one day Joe but the irrigation water goes right through that
Mm-hmm.
part of town,
Uh-huh.
but it's been allocated to big time farmers west of Milagro.
Uh-huh.
And he goes over and he just opens the ditch. He opens the head gate, you
Uh-huh.
know, the compuerta, and just irrigates his dad's land, plants beans, and just says, I'm going to grow my own stinking beans, right?
Uh-huh.
And then people in the valley start saying, oh, you're breaking the law. The state engineer is going to get ticked off. The state's going to get ticked off. We're all going to get in trouble. You got to stop. And other people said, hey, we've lost our land. We've lost our water rights all throughout history to the big time developers, etc. So go for it. Nay, nay. So a big kerfuffle begins.
Mm-hmm.
And that little action of putting water into Joe's dad's field
Mm-hmm.
starts this fight that kind of grows. Some people in town want him to do it, some don't. And pretty soon, oh, there's also a development up above the town,
The resort.
a resort,
Yeah.
golf course, blah, blah,
The
blah,
evil
blah,
resort.
blah.
Right.
The mean tyrant, you know,
Uh-huh.
the dictator, Lad Divine,
Uh-huh.
wants to build more cabins. He wants all the water, yada yada yada.
Right.
And so the whole thing blows up to a huge kerfuffle where all the local cops and the state cops and then the state engineer's office gets involved. And ultimately, it's just about the struggle of people in a very small town who learn about conservancy districts, how you just automatically lose
Hmm.
your water rights, your control over your acequias, etc.
Hmm.
They learn all this stuff. In the beginning, Lad Divine is going to build a dam, the
Right.
Indian Camp Dam. He's going to put a lot of water in it,
Uh-huh.
but it's going to be for tourists. It's
Right.
going to be for people trout fishing, running their little motorboats.
Right.
And so people finally get together and they fight back. And ultimately, they stop the dam and they stop the Conservancy District. In a nutshell,
Yeah.
it's
And it has a happy ending.
yeah, well,
But not in real life.
everybody understands the fight never stops,
Right,
right?
right, right.
But
Right.